My dearest friends, greetings from Russia with love. I want to respond to Sunny's post regarding her expressed desire for us to come together with Kanish Belospota. If Jen or anyone of our light family feels like sharing with us some practical tips of how to facilitate that, we'll be very grateful for such an assistance. Honestly, I've been initiated into Belospota Grand Mastery, but I personally don't use Belospota often. I'm going to be open and honest with you. I'll tell you as it is. Currently, in my present circumstances, Belospota is not my strong suit for natural reasons. As some of us know, my work for Almine is not salary-based. I'm volunteering to keep operating under my initial agreement with Almine as someone who is responsible for her Russian office since 2012. My official position is Almine appointed director of her Russian office. But it's really a lot of things. Like there's a saying in America, I wear many hats. Translator, administrator, public relations manager, manager of logistics, marketing manager, musician, and this is not a full list. My job was salary-based until January 2015. And since January 2015, my heartfelt gratitude to my wife Jill's parents, my father and mother-in-law, Mr. Lawrence, and Mrs. Emily Conklin, for their open-hearted generosity as they sponsored my work for Almin since 2015 and until the last year, 2023. And because Almin no longer writes books and online courses and no longer facilitates seminars, webinars, retreats, there's no need for me to be full-time at the Russian office. It was needed when we translated and translated and translated tons and tons of materials, literally day and night, and working somewhere else was not even the slightest option for obvious reasons. And now this is no longer the case. And I found a job in America, in Colorado, local high school, as many of you know, pianist, accompanist. And now my job description also includes creating performance soundtracks for choirs. And actually starting from tomorrow, I'm going to be back at work remotely from here, from Russia. I need to create a bunch of soundtracks for the school. And I'll start my work tomorrow and now until the short break, winter holidays, when I'll be able to spend more time at our Telegram groups again and again. I'll be able to take a few more private consultations. But it will be a short time break, just 2 weeks. And then again, I'll be waiting for my next summer break, 2025, to be free to do more work for Almin and our light family. This is the reality of my life. I work for Almin as a volunteer in between full-time job and overtime and after hours. And now more work is ahead of me creating soundtracks after hours. I'm infinitely grateful to our other Team Almine Russia members for their enormous support. Without them, our work would be impossible. And because I'm always at my musical workstation, I found a way to combine my work for school with producing sound elixirs, with enormous assistance of another Sergey, my musical friend, who happened to be one of the best sound producers in Russia, who takes care of mixing, mastering, sound editing, very complex stuff. You may ask how all of this relates to my Belospota weakness. Belospota takes some quality time. If we do it like we're supposed to do it, by the book, strictly, no shortcuts, no abbreviations. My life circumstances, multitask, a job, overtime, after hours, busy, busy, busy. Of course, I can't avoid strictly keeping my top priority list responsibilities. But other times, I can only give myself permission to have 5-minute breaks. Sometimes I'm at school and I have only 5-minute break, and some of our light family is calling me asking for spiritual assistance. And I have to tell that I have only 5-minute break. Please tell me what you want to ask, but only in one sentence. Sometimes it's challenging. Not all of us can be brief. And some of us start with the entire story of all their lives. And suddenly 5 minutes passed, and I was not able to really help. That's why instead of calling, we created a special Telegram group, Almine International, for Express Life Coaching. I do what I learned from Almine directly during her travels in Russia and during her private consultations that I've been translating into Russian, what Almine calls internal technologies. As I shared before, once it took Almine just a few seconds to heal someone over the phone while she was standing in the airport line. We can really move the mountains just within a few seconds over the phone or Telegram. In winter, I told you that we plan to offer you expensive VIP programs, personal support starting from $5,000 per year with ongoing unlimited amounts of private consultation, personal support. But now I can see that there's no need for you to pay such a huge amount of money and to go through millions of private sessions if your problem can be potentially resolved in just a few seconds and for completely free of charge at our Almine International Telegram group for Express Life Coaching. But the only request from our part, I only have 5-minute breaks. Please state your question or request just in one brief sentence, and I'll respond to you in my next available 5-minute break. Also, internal technologies provide an opportunity to work with you long distance while I'm doing my actual work, providing accompaniment for rehearsals, creating soundtracks, but especially when I work on alchemical sound elixirs. I'm infinitely grateful to Almin for teaching me internal technologies. It's not just technologies, it's not just techniques, it's actually lifestyle. And in my life situation, when I desire to help, but honestly don't have time for long healing protocols, internal technologies are really my salvation here. But if you do have time for Balvaspata protocols, then work with Balvaspata. I'm saying all of this because I must admit that I don't have to reach experience with Kanish and in facilitating group Kanish sessions, although I really adore Sunny's idea. And if it's possible to somehow arrange that, that would be such a huge blessing for all of us, and of course, for the entire cosmic life. And Sunny suggests group Kanish for the enlightenment and healing of God beings to release cyclical patterns of internal strife. Well, English is not my first language, and I was not sure if I understand the word strife. And I looked it up at Google Dictionary, and here's what I found: angry or bitter disagreement over fundamental issues, the act or state of fighting or arguing violently. Dearest Sunny, I understand that you know some facts, and thank you so much for using wisdom and discretion of not releasing them. But if this is something that takes place among us, God beings, then it's better to say bitter truths than sweet lies. Then we are not God beings. We are mirror images that live in mirrors of illusion of separation. Because only in the illusion of separation such things like strife are possible. We are free from 4 core distorted emotions: anger, fear, pain, or sense of being hurt or offended, and protectiveness, a desire to protect ourselves from seeming attacks and dangers. In the reality of oneness, there are no attacks and dangers. I'm looking again at definitions of strife: anger, bitterness, fighting, arguing. I'm going to replay for you one of our videos, Stop Toxicity. It's very important for us to know how to handle others who express all those distortions. Mastery and self-discipline are synonyms. There are some things that we cannot do, otherwise we will get into people's spider webs. It takes utmost self-discipline, but we cannot associate with people who manifest distorted emotions and incline to strife. Currently, I'm dealing with a situation where some people try to involve me in their games, and it relates to my professional duties as a director of Almine's Russian office. And here I'm in dilemma. I must act because, well, it's my responsibility. But I cannot associate with people that manifest distortions. I cannot talk with them. So solution is that I delegate this matter to our attorney. First of all, I'm not a lawyer. I don't know how this is in the US and other countries, but in Russia, if we encounter some legal matters, it's better not to try to be a lawyer if this is not your profession. Otherwise, it may be a tricky thing. So it's a very smart solution to delegate some matters to professionals. It's really not our thing to try to prove our innocence if we know that we're innocent. Someone tries to accuse us in all kinds of sins that we never committed. Never allow yourself to fall into the trap. Never try to prove yourself right if you know that you're right. If you walk in honesty and integrity, you're as bold as a lion, and you're not afraid because it's impossible to suffer or to be harmed if you're really honest and speak only truth. If someone is really a liar and deceiver, it's a totally different story. They have a reason to be afraid, but it's not about us. That's why we are not concerned about self-protection, because we don't live by feeling or need to protect ourselves. If you're in oneness, you're the only one that exists in your reality. There's no other power that can harm you, let alone overpower you. So I'm now in a situation, no matter how urgent all this looks like, but I'm not going to participate because, first of all, we collected over 10,000 names, your names and names of your loved ones at our winter global meditation. And we promised you to uninterruptedly work with you and your loved ones. And we keep doing it since winter global meditation. And if I slip into humanity, it will affect all those people. We don't want to make them ill instead of healthy and well. Only one even slightly careless and irresponsible act on my part, and everything will be ruined. Whenever anyone tries to falsely accuse you or slander you, one of the most hidden secrets of neutralization of the black magic: never react and never respond. We don't react and don't respond. Anyone can find themselves in such situation when we are slandered, when people try to falsely accuse you, bring you down. When you start to defend yourself and try to prove that they are wrong and you're right, you're a dead body, sir. It's the same as committing suicide. And especially if you're responsible for thousands of people, you kill them too. Maybe you personally are not responsible for great numbers of people, but how we act and react with people affects your environment, regardless of its size and your immediate sphere of influence. Even if it's only one person you take care of, sacrificing him for the sake of your self-importance and attempt to show off, to prove your innocence, to even start talking with toxic people. Never ever, my friends. Otherwise, you're poisoned and poisoning all yours. We're not talking about an absence of haters. If you are on the right track in your spiritual path, you'll always have haters, but keep them on a distance. Don't talk with them. Don't give them permission to enter your personal space, especially your emotional space. What kind of strife among God beings are we talking about? We're talking about something impossible. Either we're God beings and don't know what strife is, or we're not God beings. God beings associate with God beings. Striving humans with striving humans. We cannot mix. So again, starting from tomorrow, I'll be working as a huge musical project related to my work at school. I need to create 3 very complex soundtracks, and more assignments are on the way. And again, I will not be frequent participant in our groups, as it was during the active period of the last school year. My new school year will start tomorrow, remotely from here, and will continue in the actual school starting from the middle of August. Jill can be more frequent, and regardless of our personal circumstances, we keep working with your prayer lists, thanks to Almine's internal technologies. We can do it regardless of how busy we are with our work and our jobs. We are together no matter what. Please don't hesitate to contact me personally, directly via Telegram or phone, but please keep in mind that I have only 5-minute breaks. and I'm more than happy to dedicate them to you. Friendship is and will always be for free. I made some commitments to some of you to call you during this week. I will keep my commitments, but later we will see how we will work more briefly and more efficiently. Efficiency is the most important, not necessarily spending more time with one another. We can do great works and miracles within seconds, and we'll learn more about very soon. We have an alternative for internal strife. How about internal technologies instead of internal strife? Exceedingly better. So, a gentle reminder, join us Sunday, July 21st, to explore more internal technologies of timelessness, how to use it as a very valuable and powerful tool in your daily life. We learned theoretical aspects and gained some experience during our first timelessness webinar, and now it's time for us to delve deeper into practice, and even more practice. We'll gain all necessary internal technologies to operate one of the most powerful tools that creates tangible miracles. Timelessness in action. Talk to you soon.